Okay, so we were at the bottom of page 2, and I was wondering about these two sentences. A life of study wasn't one that left room for a wife. It left too much room to daydream about, etc. So we've got a contradiction and we have a repetition. I felt like there should be a but or however somewhere, but it doesn't seem to be here. Instead, I think it should be somewhere here. A life of study wasn't one that left room for a wife. How about if I change this? We will get rid of the repetition. Instead, I'm going to do something different, not using but or however. But something else altogether. There's room though. A life of study wasn't one that left room for a wife. There was room though to daydream about. So the contradiction is taken care of by the word though, not but or however. It didn't seem to work here. I'm going to put it here instead. So this is very subjective. I don't know whether Rebecca would like it. Oops. Maybe she won't. That's okay. Oops. Oh no. It's okay. Where am I? It left too much. I think it was like this before. So suggesting kind of getting rid of the contradiction. Okay, a life of study wasn't one that left room for a wife. There was room, though, to daydream about. It's not perfect, but I think it's better than just, doing the repetition without having the contradiction taken care of by using a word like though or but or however. So we'll let Rebecca decide if she likes that. She'll probably come up with something better. She always does. There was something else I wasn't happy with. Okay, it was this. So instead of this, I'm going to use artifacts. Always use the simplest word you can find. If you see that you have something, really complex, if you can use one word to replace it, then do so, which is easy for the reader. They wanted the grows he was escorting home, priceless artifacts. Instead of off, I'm going to use depicting. God, rituals for summoning and controlling. explores he was escorting home priceless artifacts depicting forgotten rituals for summoning. Okay, I prefer it this way. I think it reads better. Goddess only knew who they'd sell them to. They didn't ruin them out of ignorance. I kind of feel like this needs expanding. And I'm still not sure who they are, whether they are the parrots or the people they intend to sell them to. But if they ignorant they wouldn't be buying them, well, could. But Rebecca will know, so I'll leave it up to her. Not expanding, expand a little bit. Expand. A bit confusing. Okay. Okay, so that's the second page taken care of. I think I'm happy with it. First one we done. First one done. Second page done. Now we're on to the third page. Okay, so stop it. It was a silly quip. So the quip was, I'd never seduce a married man. And Emil is the person thinking this, a protagonist. You never set foot on a ship again. So he's telling himself, you never set foot, much less meet him. Now, because it's internal monologue, I'm going to ask Rebecca to change this to I. Okay. I mean, it's not wrong. I mean, he's talking to himself, and we do call, when we talk to ourselves, we could say you, right? But because it's internal monologue, the convention is to use I. Okay, an itch between Emil's shoulder blades signaled that someone had touched the water on his rooms. He whirled, sent his ox to scan his room, and encountered someone slipping through as if the magic were water. Okay. I'm going to make that a little bit more active. I know this is not exactly what she said, but I feel like this might be better for flow. Line editing is all about flow. Okay, we want the reader to keep reading, and we don't want the reader to stop reading. Because if we do this, then we can get rid of this. You could even use an M dash here, because that itching tells him this, right? So conceivably, we could use an M dash. We could make this a little bit more dramatic. Send is not as strong a verb as flying, for instance. Encountered seems a little lackluster and pale here. Something else. No shoulder blades itched. Someone had touched the warts on his rooms. He whirled. His ox flying out to scan. Now, there's a repetition here. I think we can make it a little bit more dramatic by saying, I always prefer short sentences to longer ones. So I'm going to allow for an M dash here if Rebecca likes the idea, and of course she will because it's an M dash. Emotional blades itched. Someone had touched the water in his room. He whirled around. Oh, he whirled. Around? Do we need around? He whirled. I think so because he's on the balcony facing out, and now he's turning around. Because whirled can mean he's going in any direction, right? But it's more purposeful. He whirled around to look into his room, his arcs flying out to scan for intruders. Someone slipped through as if the magic were water. Sometimes I like as if, sometimes I like as though. It's just a very subjective choice. This was the Magi Tower. I always forget how to pronounce this. Magi. Magi? Maybe. This was the tower. No one should be able to reach his room, much less evade his personal wards. Extra space here. His aura pulsed through the rooms, hoping to recognize the intruder as the fellow Magus. He had never encountered this aura before, but it opened at his touch, and the intent was far from innocent. Emil's face flushed hot. Flushed hot. Flushed is already... I think hot is implied. And we can even just say Emil flushed. In the darkness of the room, a figure bowed. Are you coming? Are you going to come to me, or should I join you on the balcony? This is a great line, I think, because it places the two characters where they are. The intruder is in the room, and Emil is still on the balcony. Once in a while, it's good to do that, so your readers can picture where your characters are. You can do that in dialogue, or you can do it in action beats. That dusky voice haunted his dreams every night. He recognized it instantly. I'm going to put this after. I feel like it should be this first and then the dialogue here. In the darkness of the room, a figure bowed. Are you going to come to me? Are you going to come to me, or should I join you on the balcony? A dusky voice haunted in his dreams every night. Now we can actually change this to Emil, or change this to Emil. I think it might work better here. I mean, we know it's Emil, but still, it's nice to give the reader cues like that once in a while. The captain stepped into the moonlight, lifting a bottle of wine. 12. That's a stallion wine. It was insanely expensive, semi-illegal, and completely irrelevant. I love this. This is another one of, Rebecca has such a nice touch. I mean, this is hilarious. I love it. But it was the only thing to come out of his jumbled thoughts. It was insane. Now this bit is a little bit clunky. I love this. Yeah, this is great. I may change this bit. I'm just going to give myself a reminder here. That mischievous grin lit the captain's face. I stole it. Of course he did. As if the admission released him from some magical hold, Emil rushed into the room, jerking to a halt, barely out of the captain's reach. What are you doing here, after what you did to us? To me? The captain set the wine on the table and stretched, making Emil very aware of how tight the fellow's pantaloons were. That the shirt was unbuttoned all the way down. Goodness me. Goddess, he moves beautifully. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm going to put something else here. I'm not just sure exactly what. As if the admission released him, jerking to halt. You know what? I want to know what he's feeling. I mean, he's angry, but there's something else, right? If we read between the lines, and we do want our readers to read between the lines, but subtext is always nice to have, and I think some body language here maybe would be nice to give us some subtext of what Emil is really feeling. Apart from anger, his words, his dialogue shows the anger, right? But often there's something else that we don't say, and I'm thinking Emil is pretty excited to have the pirate visit him. What do you think? This is great stuff. Yes, he moves beautifully. Okay, so this bit I'm not happy about. Okay, so why am I not happy? Say, yes, he's very confused. I'm going to get Rebecca to expand a tiny bit here because I suspect what I want, the subtext, what Emil is feeling, could be here. It could be here, it could be here. And whatever Emil is feeling is pretty intense. So we need that on page. Okay. Good.